Hello everyone, I'm Rick Janzen. Welcome to my fly bench. In designing a deep water pupa, I wanted to take the color spectrum into account. If we take a quick look at this photo of the color spectrum, we can see the colors ranging from red down to violet on the bottom. Red being the longest wavelength and violet being the shortest. Those colors disappear in water the further down you go in that order. So of course the first color to become something else, red, actually becomes a dark gray or black the deeper you go into the water. Orange goes next, and yellow appears gray after a certain depth. The colors that hold on the longest here are the blue, the indigo, and the violet. And of course below the violet, the ultraviolet. An earlier chironomid pupa of mine that I came up with, called the substitute, takes that into account. It's like Brian Chan's ASB and wine chironomid. That wine, that burgundy, is your violet color, which holds on the longest in the visible color spectrum. In coming up with a deep water chironomid pupa pattern, and I wanted to approach that middle of the spectrum that's often overlooked, I wanted to provide an alternate color to the purple of the wine and ASB, or what I call the substitute. So I've come up with a pattern I call deep blue. It gives an alternate color to that purple and should attract fish when the other colors in the spectrum have disappeared or turned gray or black. So let's take a look at the materials you're going to need to tie the deep blue. Alright everybody, into my vise here I have a number 10 curved scud hook from Togans with a 7/64 UV white bead on there. The UV, I believe, again being a deep water pattern, allows it to pop down there, and the trout will see it a little bit better, be drawn to it. We're talking fishing here, fishing more than 50 feet. When we're down some of those big lakes in the interior, we're fishing 70, 80, 90 feet down with the dangle method. I'm wrapping in behind that my 130 denier white tying thread, and we're going to build up a base there to lock that bead in place. And with the 130, it doesn't take very long. It's a thicker thread, and it also allows does a couple of great things for this pattern. It allows the blue to shine, blue crony skin to shine quite nicely, and when you wrap it over, it just takes a bit of that edge off. So we're getting that in there, and then we're coming in with our small UTC black wire to give it the segmentation that we want. And I'll just find the end of that there. There we go. Cut off a piece of that with my dedicated wire scissors, and we'll give that a snip and come in on the near side of the hook there. Just been tying these up tonight because I want to do some more deep water fishing, especially places like Sheridan Lake and some of those other Lac des Roches, and do some deep water fishing when the time comes, when those fish are onto that. That's midsummer stuff, right? And I got a long hair of that thread fiber there. I'll get that cut off. Just acting a bit of a nuisance there. Now bring that wire down on my side of the hook in nice even wraps. Just we're going to have a nice tapered body here. It's a pretty simple fly to tie, and you can tie this down, you know, pretty small, 18s and 20s if you want. Varying, of course, this I'd go to extra small wire, but the crony skin would stay the same, and the bead would just get smaller. So then we're coming in with our Togans crony skin in blue black. This has got that nice spectrum of blue that'll show down there, and it gives an alternate color to the purples that so many people use for that deep fishing. The purple definitely shows up, but maybe sometimes the fish aren't onto that, and you want to give them a different color. And so I I've enjoyed having this alternate color on hand when situations like that arise. And so I don't know what they're taking it as, if they're taking it as green or whatever, but it certainly works, and it gives an alternate to the purple that we put down there to when we're fishing deep. I like two for the coverage of the body. It gives a better coverage because you're going forward and back on it, right? And so then I like to do that and make sure I get a good coverage of the body with it. So I'm going to start in behind the wire. I like to give it that taper in behind the wire, right? Continue the color below the ribbing a little bit. Just a couple wraps down there. And then we come forward. And now I'm going to bring that thread back so that I can catch it on the way back when it's when I've got it the crony skin returned to the rear of the hook here. So there we go, bringing it up to the thread and then forward to the thread, and then we'll just catch that tag in with the crony skin as we're wrapping it forward. You can see that's a gorgeous blue color, even has hints of that purple in it, but like I said, it gives an alternate color, and it sort of, when it's covered with the white thread, it sort of gives that blue dun look to it that's so popular with that with the threads, right? When you tying blue dun patterns, they're really sharp looking fly, and they're very effective. But and this one gives it that impression when you're finished it, because it's the way the thread and resin and the crony skin all blend together into one color. So just finishing that off there at the rear, and then we'll capture that with a single wrap, maybe two just because we were having trouble before, and we'll give that a snip. Now I like to bring this thread forward and bring it forward flat. So the nice thing about this heavier denier thread is it does really flatten out, almost like a floss, if you keep it counterwound. And so I'm coming through and I'm making sure I'm layering that one right down beside the one previously laid, and just making sure I'm just flattening the thread. Not too much of a spin, don't want to overspin it. And looks like you're completely covering up the crony skin here at this point. So you're thinking like, what the heck am I doing? But once you get that resin on it, you see how that blue shines through. And when I have the close-up photographs, it'll for you in this video, you can see how that blue really does shine through that white thread. So just going to build up a bit here at the front to make sure I've locked that bead in place. Now we're going to come forward with the small black wire and just give it our requisite 5 to 7 wraps. Right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we capture that. The black really gives it a sharp contrast too with the body, and so you hold on to that segmentation way down deep when the fish are taking chironomids deep. So just get that helicoptered out of there. Love tying up these ones, they look so good when they're done. And give that a wet finish. Just a few wraps there. And let the resin do its magic. And pull that taut. Now a drop of the UV resin on there, and you can just see the way that blue will bleed through there. Really sharp looking fly. It's a blue-gray color that I really took a shine to when I first tied this fly, and I believe it's going to be a real dandy catching fish down deep in 70-80 feet of water, even 50 feet. You know, you get down to 50 feet and a lot of those top colors on the spectrum disappear. So we'll give that a pop with their UV light, and 10 seconds on top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same on the bottom. Yeah, UV white bead just pops there on the light and really shines. And that'll draw a trout in, and then the rest of the body convinces them it's something they want to take, looking like food. So there you have the deep blue, a great little fly. Love having these in my box. They're really sharp looking. Again, you can tie them from 10s like this down to 18s and 20s. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and share this with a friend who might like it if you've got friends who are interested in a deep water pupa.